Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, it doesn't work without you guys. So let's get open for business here. And let's wake up the football gods. Wake up this morning, guys. Wake up. All right, we sit here 12 days, 10 hours, 34 minutes, and 15 seconds away from kickoff of the 2020 NFL Draft. Wow, it's that close. It's amazing because, we think about the long off season, and this off season's been kind of hectic to say the least. We don't know how it's going to work out, but we do know that teams are beginning to do virtual reality, OTAs and stuff, meeting with players and getting that stuff together. We've already had free agency start, and now we're already at the draft. And hopefully, we will stay in, keep our social distance, and we will get back to some kind of normalcy and have a football season. I'm hopeful, I'm praying, I'm needing that football season. We all need that football season. So do your part and keep yourself away from others. So as we sit here with those 12 days, 10 hours, 33 minutes, and 15 seconds away from the draft, we want to look back and start building up into the draft. I'm going to start giving you guys. I know everybody's going to ask me about my mock draft and stuff, but I'm going to find my guys that I want. I'm a defensive line guy. I'm a pass rusher. I am, get after that guy. So that's letting you know where I'm leaning. But what you have to look at the draft, or at least the way I like to look at a draft to determine if it was successful or not, is you want to get a day one starter that's an impact player in the draft. You have to hit on your draft picks. There's no other way really to build a team except through the NFL draft. Oh yeah, you can sign free agents and things, but you got to look at it. When you think that the average life expectancy of a football player is 3 years, when you're signing a free agent, you're talking about 4 or 5 years already in. They're already on the tail end side of the careers for most of these guys, and they cost you a fortune. Draft picks, because of the slotting formula and all that, they are dirt cheap for 4 or 5 years, depending on where they're drafted. And that's why it behooves you to hit on these draft picks. Get them out there starting right away. When they get to the point of free agency, determine if that's the guy that you think is going to have a long career and is worth paying that money, or you let him go get paid elsewhere and get compensatory picks. Because ultimately, if you do not draft well, you cannot win in the NFL. It just doesn't work in building a team through free agency. And in my mind, what you want to have happen in a draft is you want, like I said, that immediate day one starter that's an impact player. You want to get a second starter out of the draft. You want to get some depth on the team, and you want to get a standout special team player. If you get those things in the draft, then you were very, very successful. And leading up to the 2017 season, we have been doing that every year, and that's why the Dallas Cowboys had so much talent. You found guys like Tyron Smith and Zach Martin and a Dez Bryant. You found guys like Lyle Collins, basically as a free agent. You found guys like Van Der Esch and Jalen Smith and Zeke Elliott and Dak Prescott. You found great players in the draft, which were the core of your team, and hence the reason why the Cowboys had a hard time was paying people, because they had so many guys that they drafted that did well all at the same time. And that's how you accumulate talent. Enter the 2017 draft, and I want to go back and look at this because this draft is a prove-it year for that draft. That draft you can look at directly and say, we didn't do real good in comparison to what we did in the past. And it's an opportunity for 4 guys that are left on the roster to put up or shut up, because this is a contract year for all 4 of them, and this is really the last chance, the one shot, the one opportunity, and they will be able to be given the opportunities to make a name for themselves. And understand, I like having people not as, perennial guy that I've been paid and I am the man and I don't have to do anything because I'm going to be a starter regardless. I like guys that are hungry. I like guys that have to fight for that position because they understand that if I don't perform, I won't be here, and I'm not getting a paycheck after it. You can look at some of the guys that performed the best on our team last year were guys who were on that prove it. Robert Quinn, hey, if I don't play well, this could be the end of my career. Plays well, gets a $70 million contract. Randall Cobb, I'm on the Dale inside. People say I'm done. If I don't perform, I might be done. Goes ahead and goes to the Texans and gets, $28 million, right? You look at where, Byron Jones, last year of his deal, he gets paid big time, to go to Miami. So you have guys that realize it's all or nothing. So as we go through and understand why the Cowboys drafted what they did, let's start with our first round pick. Cowboys coming off a great season, 13-3, had a late pick in the first round. Where the Cowboys looked at it and they said, we need help as a pass rusher. The year before, Benson Moya led the team in sacks with 6. D-Law had been suspended for 4 games for PEDs and was coming off a back injury. You didn't know what you were going to get from D-Law. D-Law was not the guy that he became that year. And so as you were looking at that, you said to yourself, we have to get an edge rusher. We have to get somebody that can get after the quarterback. We got nobody. We got Tyrone Crawford, and that's it. That's it. So they kind of reached. The way that draft was shaking out was edge rushers were going fast and furious. And the Cowboys realized if we don't take a guy now, we're not going to get him in the second round, late in the second round. Now, they screwed up by T.J. Watt not fitting their mold of the long length and things. They looked at Taco and said that he's raw, he's got some ability, we can coach him up. And that's who we took. And well, he's not on the roster anymore. So the 28th pick in the draft, well, that didn't go too good. Then, second round, famously, we will remember forever, because I was right there when Drew Pearson threw shade at the Eagles in their house, and we took a woozy. Understand, the same kind of problem that we had on the defense with the defensive pass rush, we drafted defense thinking that we could turn this around because we had just let go of Morris Claiborne as well as Brandon Carr. So clearly, we already had a hole on the defensive line, and we had a hole in the secondary because not only that, with cornerbacks, J.J. Wilcox and Barry Church were also gone. So you looked at this whole defense like, damn, everybody's gone. So we went for Awuzie. Awuzie has been, he's been a starter here and there. I mean, he's had good times and so-so times. Nothing that's outstanding or, crazy or anything, but he is entering the last year of his contract. This is a prove-it year. Okay. And continuing with this again, Jordan Lewis, another cornerback, because again, you lost Brandon Carr, you lost Morris Claiborne, the glass man, you were looking to fill the holes. Same type of deal. Will be a free agent after the end of next year. Again, another guy who has played well at times. Other times you kind of looked at it and said, not so much. Again, another prove-it guy. Ryan Switzer, we traded him to the Raiders, and then he ended up going to Pittsburgh. That's gone. Xavier lays the woods. Xavier Woods has had 2 interceptions in one season, I believe, last year. He can deliver a hit, but still hasn't done anything to wow you. Again, another guy who is on a prove-it contract. Marquez White, no longer here. Joey Ives, never made the roster. And Noah Brown. Noah Brown, buddy, this is it. This is do or die. The question you have now that Randall Cobb is gone is you have Noah Brown, the 4th and final one from that 2017 draft. It's possible that he gets a shot as that third wide receiver. He's got to be able to stay healthy and be on the field. I mean, that's the bottom line. He's got to stay healthy, and he's got to show up during training camp. So here we have the remnants of that 2017 draft. And thus far, you can't honestly say that these guys have truly elevated the team. You've got 4 guys that are still on the roster. You got 3 guys that are still starters, but we need them to elevate their play. So that way we look back at this draft and say, okay, we got 3 good guys or 4 good guys out of it. But thus far, you have to be kind of disappointed in what we got in comparison to other years. Now, this isn't by any stretch of the imagination as bad as the 2009 draft, where literally 3 years after the draft, none of the guys were even on NFL rosters. None of the guys we drafted in 2009, which ushered in Will McClay coming in, becoming head of scouting, which changed our drafting strategy all the way around. Now, it'll be interesting because last year they were talking about how the Chris Richard was able to put more input into the type of guys that he wanted on the defense. That Tristan Hill was one of those guys they liked because he was thought of to be kind of a Warren Sapp type guy, high motor, high rev, could get a push and things like that. Thus far, he hasn't done that. It'll be interesting to see the influence that the new coaching staff has with Will McClay in this drafting. And that's one of the reasons why I think we're going to get an outside linebacker for this team, because I believe that they are, bit by bit, piece by piece, going to the 3-4 defense. You can look at all the players that we've let go in free agency, the ones we've retained. Most of them have some experience, or the guys who signed in free agency, with the 3-4. You can see that we're getting bigger guys that are going to be playing on that defensive line. And we'll have to wait and see. But we have to do better. We must get an impact player out of this draft. We've got to get another starter out of this draft. We definitely need some depth. We definitely need a special team standout. If we can do that, this team can go really, really far. If they don't, we got problems. I'm Mark Holmes, and as always, I want to thank you guys for being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Sometime this weekend, we'll be doing the Rams-Cowboys game over like we've been live streaming. We did the 2 Eagle ones, and that was basically the tale of 2 cities. And Eagle fans, Eagles! Dudes, that 37-7 game that I showed wasn't 2 years ago. That was last season. You guys have the worst memory that I have ever seen in my life. It's selective that you only remember the good stuff. You don't seem to remember everything. But it's okay. We're going to help you out. I'm Mark Holmes, and I hope you guys have a great Easter weekend. Remember, keep your ass at home and keep the faith. I'll see you soon.